Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wildlife Conversations. I'm Jen Ritchie, your host. And it's a little bit different this time. We're recording around lunch hour, and it's Vince Maidens is back, so it's going to be a little casual today. Hi, Vince.
Boring.
No,
Boring old me.
not
Hello.
boring at all. You and I have good discussions all the time, not on here. So it's going to be good today. It's going to be good. But
All right.
I want to welcome everyone. Hi, everyone in the chat. You can say hello in the chat to Vince, and we'll have time for a live question and answer later. But hi, Neil from Virginia is here. Anyone else wants to say hi, you can. And we're gonna have a good discussion today, just a fun one. Hi, Audrey. It's good to see you. Some familiar names. Audrey's in my 3-month group with
Oh,
me,
cool.
Skylar and I. So it's really fun to have all these people come on. So you and I chat a lot, like I said, and it's fun
Hmm.
because I feel like we have really good discussions about photography and Instagram and all those things. But
The chaos that ensues around it. Yeah.
yes, the chaos in this world around it and what it means to be a photographer in this world of chaos. But you recently got back from a good thing, Africa, right?
Hmm.
How was
Yeah.
that?
Kenya. Well, it always
Kenya.
provides
Yes.
the magic that it is, right? it is home, um, in a lot of ways. People are lovely. The wildlife experiences are fantastic. I mean, you just can't beat it. It's so ecologically viable and robust and capable of supporting all this wildlife that we sometimes take for granted. And it gets a lot of good press and it gets a lot of bad press because of, oh, like the reserve, like the
Yeah.
national reserve is a challenge because they can't police it well enough with people running around and blasting through there in
Yeah.
vehicles chasing things, right? So if they could ever get that under control, it'd be like Shangri-La basically for wildlife. But
Yeah.
the other way that it works is the conservancies that surround um, the Mara National Reserve are incredible. Right? It's all based upon the landowners and the people that live there, working with the camp owners
Mhm.
who basically are trying to do, at least the ones that I would frequent, are very green and not just greenwashing, but actually living it where they're generating their own solar and
Yeah. Oh, that's
water
cool. That's good
reclamation
to
and all that
know.
type of yeah, right. So I mean, it does cost more. There's more of a financial impact to it, but the experience is so much better because you're not dealing with 80 cars chasing
Yeah,
a
that's what
cheetah
I
and then
hear.
surrounding
Yeah.
it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Um, so you get someplace where there's only 5 cars allowed, right?
That's
It
nice.
changes the experience
Yeah.
entirely, right? You can move the vehicles around if you need to and or want to, or you just sit and wait and see what happens. So yeah, it's a really special place. Um, People always ask, why do you go back? Well, it's always the same, but it's always different at the same time.
Like you
So
said,
you
the
get,
magic. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, the magic always comes back, and the people that that they're there are great friends, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a beautiful experience, and hopefully people will get inspired by what everybody is producing to go and see it at some point. However they go see it, it's great, but I mean, it's a place that you really do need to experience if you are truly into wildlife. Um,
It's on my list. I just made
yeah,
a list. I just made a list Sunday of like I put dream to do and made a list.
yeah, yeah.
It's at the top. It's at the top of my list. I'll get there
Good,
at some
good.
point. At some point. But
Yeah,
like everyone says, you go back. I said that to my husband. I put it on the list and I said, this means just like this is not one
yeah.
time.
It's a problem. It really is a problem
Well, like you said,
because
it provides
oh
more than
yeah,
just images.
yeah. I mean, it never fails. You get off the plane, you're excited to get there. You go doing your entire safari experience. The second you get on that plane, you're planning the next trip.
Yeah.
It's just
Wow.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a lifestyle to go and just experience this raw nature the way it
Yeah.
should be, as opposed to I'm not going to bash Kruger and all that stuff, but it's not paved and it's not drive by and there's toilets in places, right? You're out in the wilderness, and for miles and miles you may not see anybody, or you may see you know, the most incredible wildlife.
Yeah. You saw a
So
giraffe give birth, right? Like right
yeah,
when you got there.
that was impressive. Yeah, it took a long time, but it was amazing to watch because it's quite like watching cattle give birth, but a longer experience and a much higher fall.
Yeah.
So, so we got photographs of it coming out and actually in the birth sac, it was
Mhm.
looking at us as it was coming.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was quite a cool experience.
That
But
is,
yeah, I'd never seen one before, and yeah, it was just amazing to see. It's not something I can imagine I'll ever see again.
yeah, that is so cool. I
Yeah.
But I think doesn't it it feels like it provides not just images but like some kind of emotional or spiritual
Oh yeah.
side
Oh
of
God,
wildlife
yeah.
photography, which is like the thing we want. Like it's that joy that we want,
Well,
you know?
it was the joy and then the immediate terror because what had happened was giraffe is coming out,
Oh,
and you look over to the left, and then this hyena walks in,
mm-hmm.
and this is going to be bad because where there's usually one hyena, there's usually many.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like 10 minutes later, another one had come walking in, and you could see where the story was going. Um, Amazingly, we didn't stay to watch that because it, one,
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's not something that you need in your brain. Two, it's not an image anybody wants on the wall or,
Mm-mm.
people, yes, nature is nature, but those types of images, I don't believe anybody really needs.
Yeah.
Um, so we left figuring, okay, nature's going to do what it will, but next day, baby giraffe, right?
Oh,
So she
good.
walked it into the thick bush, and yeah, there it was. So
Oh, that's cool.
very much a relief for everybody that saw, because yeah, that was not a good moment. That driving away knowing you can't do anything,
Yeah.
and knowing what the likely outcome was because they started calling for the other hyenas which weren't very
Oh
far away,
no.
like, oh, this is done, right? And it wasn't. So yeah, it was
Oh,
good to be wrong. Really, really good to be wrong.
really good to be wrong. Yeah, that's nice. That was a nice sight. Your camera's moving in and out a little bit. I don't know if you
Oh
can
yeah,
see that.
sorry, but
That's okay.
it's a Polycom thing that
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does, and
I
I
just,
can't stop it.
yeah, whatever you
It
want to
does.
do with it is fine with me. It's fine with me. We can
Okay.
hear you just fine. So,
Okay.
um, so you and I mean, there are times like I'll be texting you things that are driving me crazy.
Hmm.
We could probably talk about some of those things, but I know one of those things like that we've been talking about is um just time
Yeah.
as a wildlife photographer, time to invest in the places where you shoot, places to invest in your craft, and sometimes how the Instagram culture negates that.
Sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it was this week that I'm like, okay, this person has had a camera since September of
Yeah.
2025 and
Yeah.
now is leading a workshop. And I'm like, I really don't understand. And so you and I have just discussed like the Instagram culture, and you have a great Substack called The Authentic Voice and podcast
Thank you.
where you discuss a lot of these things, and you and I will kind of go back and forth on some of the things, but I think one of them that you talked about is photographer versus digital creator in this sort
Yes.
of
Yeah.
Instagram world. And so like how do you define the both of those? That's a loaded question for a
Sure.
photographer, but
So, eh, okay, I'm gonna sound like the old grumpy guy, which of course I am. But when I learned to make an image, it was you had to get it right because it was film, right? You didn't
yes.
have the option to go back and redo it so easily. So you had to really put the thought process into what you wanted that image to be because your composition mattered at the time. Yes, you could maneuver things on the frame when you printed it, but I mean, you still had to get it right. So, and we didn't have the option of moving the joystick around, right? There was no
Yeah.
joystick. It was actually getting it right.
Yeah.
And so for me, I try to get as much correct in the camera in that image as possible so that any editing I need to do is minimal, like exposure, compensation stuff, some, contrast, a little bit of color correction here and there. Because for me, one of my main things is I'll put things into contests, right? And
Right.
the bigger contests, you are allowed to change nothing. You can't remove anything. You cannot alter the spirit of the image, is what the way they usually reference it. So that's what I consider photography, is that you produce an image that has a story within that frame that you made. You made it, not you went back afterwards in post and fixed up a big mess that you made
Yeah.
and made it look into something else.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And then there's the other people that will, go and change the backgrounds and remove branches and all that stuff. So you've got this
Sky.
perfect, yeah, sky replacements, perfectly smooth backgrounds with no blemishes and nothing real. And you've got this overproduced. There's some of the guys in Ontario call it the Euro edit, which is
Hmm.
funny because it's a very. I guarantee you've seen, if you go through your Instagram feed, there's 1,000 photos that look all the same, where the animal's got this lovely um, um, radial gradient around it that's focusing on exactly where the digital artist wants you to look, and it's all fabricated, right? So all of the texture is brought up to a million, and
Hmm.
sharpness over the top, and
Hmm.
they've changed all the exposure in the eyes, and they brought up all kinds of, like, hundreds of edits and masks and all
Yeah. Yeah.
that stuff, which, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it, but you cannot call that photography anymore, because you have done all of that in post. None of that was done in the camera, other than you've gone out and made a base image, which I've seen a lot of the people, they'll post their raw and then their final product, and the raw is just
Yeah,
this
that is interesting to me. I'm like, you
piece
should
of
not have
crap.
done that.
Yeah.
Like, you should not. And so many people are doing it. And
Oh
I think
God.
that's where I sound old too, is like, but I'm not, I feel like I know I'm old, but I'm not an old photographer. I've only been doing this for 9 years. To
Yeah.
me, 9 years is a young photographer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
feel
agree.
like I really want to respect the field and all the people that came before me. Like, I know that 9 years is young.
Yeah.
But whenever people show that, I'm like, but you didn't even try to get it right in camera. I
Exactly.
respect someone that tries to get it right in camera and then comes home and does some
Oh,
edit.
totally. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Of
know?
course. Yeah. And if they go ahead and say, I've edited this,
Yeah.
right? But I would say the majority of these people come back and just say, here is my magical photograph, right? And they present you with something that is not the reality which they captured. They
Yeah.
captured a base image that they have taken a huge amount of time to go back and faff around with
Yeah.
and make into something that it actually isn't, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I could give you a list of names. I will not, because I'll get yelled at if I do. Um, but there are some folks that are making a ton of money because they've got these programs that are teaching people how to do this, but they don't have the fundamental skills to actually be teaching. They're great at Photoshop. So if you want to learn Photoshop and Illustrator and all that stuff, these are the people to go to. But if
Yeah.
you want to be a photographer, they are not for you.
Yeah. So things that are allowed in the contests are
Yeah.
still photographer. Like, it's not digital art.
Yeah.
If you're doing,
No,
is
it
is
is.
that what you think?
Unless it specifically says creative. If it's a creative class, then they have a little bit more leniency, and they allow certain edits to be made that wouldn't normally be made. Like, I don't, but still don't believe you can remove anything, but I mean, it can be
Yeah.
a lot more creative with filtering and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you look at the WPY, I mean, you aren't allowed to do anything, and
Yeah.
they catch everything now. They've
Yeah.
they've been burned a few times, and they've invested a lot into, one, getting judges that actually know what they're looking at, and two, software that goes in and does forensic level
Yeah.
analysis of the images and the raws to make
Which they
sure that
should.
it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, which they should. And I
With
mean,
AI
you look
now
at
and
the,
everything. Yeah.
well, yeah, you look at the bird photographer of the year this year, where the
Right.
second place image, I can talk about it now because it's long past, but
Yeah.
they had terrible judges, and again, they have shit judges, pardon my French, um, that truly are weak. I mean, they had a lot of influencers last year, which, okay, whatever. That's great for getting attention to the contest for entries, but it's not good for the entries, because what they missed in a big way made a huge black eye for them globally,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
So the entrant that was falsified, you know, came in second. They went to publishing. 6 months later, they finally came out and found out that it was
Yeah.
poor. And I mean, I looked at the image, I looked at the settings, and right away, because I'm a bird photographer, it was very clear to me that the numbers that he put in there were not possibly in a physics way,
Hmm.
right? So, um, you know, message Will, who runs the contest, and that things kicked off a little bit. But um, yeah, I mean, it's you really have to get it right in camera, and now that we're in this age of where even raws can be fabricated or
Wow.
altered, you know, I'm all about authenticity, right? And I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I see AI as a tool for some things. I know it's going to be abused in photography, and I think there is going to be a market for photographers. I think people that are true photographers will still have a following because people will want to see real.
Yeah,
There'll
I
be
think
the
that's
world
true.
is getting full of AI crap,
Yeah, I think there's
and
going to be a pushback, like an
oh
anti.
yeah,
Yeah, there already
yeah,
is starting that. Yeah.
agreed.
I guess my thought is like I agree with you. I am a subtle editor. I do use masking some and
Oh, I
any
mask as well, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Anything I do, I want it to look subtle and natural and like what was at the scene.
yeah,
Um, but I think the thing I struggle with is, when you look at how art changes and how art evolves, we have people that push the limits and
mhm,
make it better, like in anything. Like you think like Monet and Van Gogh and
yeah,
Basquiat and like all these people, Pollock, they pushed it and people hated it.
yep.
So I am wondering like how in photography is that going to make photography better, these new tools that we have, where it's not just, maybe it's going to be chaotic for a little while,
Yeah,
but maybe these new tools we have will shape the medium and make it better. Like maybe there's a 2% part of all this stuff that will make
yeah,
photography better. And like I understand like some things are a little crazy. Like you can't just change the sky. But then there's also like, okay, it's your art. You can do whatever you want. And that's what you're saying. Then it's a digital
totally.
creation.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to change the sky, own it. Just say,
Yeah.
I went and did all of these changes to make
Yeah.
this image the way it is. Not that this is my photograph, because you're giving false expectation to the viewer, and I think you're actually disrespecting the viewer
Yeah.
by lying to them, right? If you are a true artist, embrace your art, right? Be it photography or be it digital art, but don't lie to people.
Yeah.
You
There are
know,
pictures of
just
the Tetons where I'm like, I've never seen that blue in the Tetons in my life.
oh yeah, I
Where are
mean,
you getting that?
I see lots of photography from say Africa where the colors just don't exist in nature, right? They
Yeah.
bring they you know they get the my thing is light, right? And the light becomes a thing, and you get this blue and magenta crap that just really isn't there. It is spectrum, but you're bringing it out by whatever manipulation you're doing, and then you're raising the shadows and whatever animal you've got in that light that's doing nothing usually, like no interesting pose. So they've got an image of light and then a creature in it.
Yeah.
You know, so you see a lot of that, and it's just not appealing photography. I mean, I've worked with a few people that you know, really believe that the light is the only thing that matters, and then they just produce these just ramshackle images of weird colors, sun or moon, and then an animal doing nothing of interest. So,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
mean,
you
I think
have
color
to put it
theory is
together.
really fun and fun to
Yeah.
think about with photography as we're watching in nature.
Mhm.
And I think I can think of photographers who make images just so gorgeous in the way that they change the colors a
Art
little bit.
Wolf. Art Wolf is a master of it.
Yeah, David
I've seen him take
Duchovny,
pictures
so
of
good at that.
reeds,
Yeah,
you know, that
Steve
just
Mathis. Yeah,
blow
they're
your
so good
mind.
at. And I love that. I love that we can express ourselves and use that. I just hope that out of all this social media chaos and that somehow photography will be moved forward, and that we can somehow meld these things together. Because I mean, it's always evolving. Art's always
Yeah.
evolving with the times, with change, and it's reflecting who we are as a society. So hopefully good things and good photographers will come out of this. But I do
Yeah.
think I am pushing myself even more and more to get it right in camera, to have
Good.
integrity in the frame and what's included in the frame, which is so important. Like
It is.
what
And you
is
feel
included in the frame. Yeah.
you want your viewer to feel something when they look at the image,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not try to dissect the image for what is real, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think if you want to give that authentic experience that you had in that moment to tell that story of that subject, you can't overly do it with the editing.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you go back to, like you said, where the artists like Pollock and those folks, right? They were artists. They embraced the art. They didn't care what people thought of it. They made it.
Mhm.
However, they didn't say this is real life and what you're seeing
Very true. Yes.
is real, right? But
That's
that's
true.
the problem we have with Instagram and a lot of photographers is that they manufacture these images that are none of those, right? And it's basically they don't take any ownership of what they've done to make it. So that's where my issues are, and I'm pretty clear about it, I think, but people get very upset because I say they're shit. And
You're very clear.
yeah, and I explain why. So I mean, if they're confused by it, that's not my problem, right? It's their
There are new photographers and young photographers and YouTubers
yeah, oh yeah,
that are good photographers and are doing it right.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I think there's just it's noisy. You know, it's
oh
really
yeah.
noisy and full. And the more you create like that, the more numbers you get, the more followers you get.
That's the thing.
It's
Yeah, I
the
mean, you
thing.
see these people, they're really good at making Photoshop images and they're really good at making reels about those
Real.
Photoshop
They're really good
images
at
and they're
promoting themselves.
yes, I can
I'm
look in
not
a
good at it.
camera and tell you a story about my photo that I took. And then I show you the photo and then your face melts because it's crap. But you sat here and you watched the video for over 3 seconds. So the algorithm fed you and me a winning image. And now I'm being exposed to tens of thousands of people who are following me because they all think my work is something.
Just to video you watching through Instagram would be hilarious.
Oh,
Like I love light. I think light is gorgeous. I love
well,
images
yeah,
like that, but I want yeah, I but it's not just light. You know, it's
no,
gesture, it's spacing, composition, all those things make such magical wildlife photography. So
yeah.
it's like are people being mentored? Are they giving them like you for me when I see someone say I started in September of 2025 and now I'm doing leading a workshop and teaching. I'm like, listen, you got to
What are
give
you
yourself
teaching?
time to
Yeah,
learn and be mentored and like respect the craft. People, of course, can do whatever they want. But for me, I've
yeah.
set standards on myself like, I won't teach this until 5 years, or I won't do this for this many years. And then I'll give myself permission to teach or
I
mentor.
think you have to live the
Right.
experiences before you can teach them. I mean, there's all kinds of theoretical. I mean, God, I mean, coming from the background that I have, that you have with education, right? You are imparted with lots of theoretical information that you may or may not ever practice, and you can go ahead and teach that. However, it is not an art. Art is
Right.
definitely something more than just um, putting pixels down on a sensor or on an image and expecting the viewer to fall in love with it or hate it or whatever. You know, whatever emotion you're trying to get them to feel, how do you expect them to feel it if you didn't live it?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of your blog posts is to tell a story. You
Yeah,
have to live it, embrace it, know it. That was
yeah,
really good. And shooting locally is so important to you, shooting
absolutely.
every
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Like WPY images, local, right? I mean, most of the people that you look that aside from yes, the Nat Geo guys and the very well flushed folks, there is that group, but they are
Yeah.
out spending massive amounts of time in one locality, so it does become local to them. So then they learn the spot, they learn the species. So the same applies. It's just at a grander scale. But the majority of people that are winning the major contests are shooting within range of their home because that's their most opportunity. That's their most place of knowledge, right? So people think that you know, I'm never going to win any of these contests unless I go to Africa or the
It does
Pantanal
feel
or
that way,
Amazon.
Vince. It really does.
Yeah.
Like I don't go to like some far off place and the one that won this year, I don't know anything about that place or have any money to go to that place.
And you
So
wouldn't really want to because it's a dismal place that
that's
he
what it looks
spends
like. Yeah.
yeah, and he spends a massive amount of time there because he knows that one species. So
Yeah.
he endured to get
Right.
that image. I mean, yeah, I know it was a camera trap and all that, but he endured the time and the effort to go
The
back and
money.
keep
Yeah.
trying. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, they put that local knowledge in and go out and make the images, right? So it does take a lot of effort. I mean, clearly you can't think that you're just going to go out there and crack off a couple hundred images and you're going to get it, right?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, but chances are you're going to repeat that same location and subject dozens of times before anything of value comes out of it.
Yeah. It's true. It
Like
just,
I don't think I've shot more than maybe two images that I even liked this year, right? So,
same.
um, you know,
Same.
it, it's not a surprise to me when people come and, it took me 20 years to do that. Okay, that's not a surprise, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for all the technical, the theory, the art to come, the magic to come together with your knowledge of a place and for
that's
that
right.
animal to do the thing you want it to do.
You have to be there, right? That's the
Yeah,
thing. If you're not in it to win, what is I can't remember the
in
somebody
it to
said
win
it the other day. Yeah,
it.
yeah. If you're not there, you're missing it or whatever. It's one of
No,
those
no.
things. Just Google it. Yeah, so if you're not out there shooting, you're never going to get the image, right? So
Yeah.
the place that you're going to do the most shooting is going to be in your local patch. So finding something, like I said to you, right? I know you're in a place that's kind of devoid of
I was just gonna
stuff.
say you've been I've been trying to explain to you.
Yeah, but I guarantee you there's some freaky little species out there that you're not seeing yet that could pay off, right?
I want to
So,
trade places with you and make you
yeah.
come here. I was just talking about it with my husband. Like, I have really done what you're saying. Like, I have put in the time, mornings, evenings. I knew the forests, I knew the
Yeah.
sounds, I knew the stuff. And it's like when you're in the middle of the Midwest, and I'm in a place where there are like no lakes,
Mm, yeah, that's
farm
tough.
field, development, offices, you know,
Yeah.
and there's tiny little nature areas where that's kind of where I try in a little state park where I try. So
Mm.
sometimes there is still beauty.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
There is still
Yeah.
beauty. But I'm a little bit in a slump locally just because I'm
Mhm.
tired. I'm just tired of putting
And
in all the
seasonal
work.
changes. Right now, it's a shifting season, right? So everything's
Yes.
likely breeding. So there's going to be babies soon. So you might get
Yes.
lucky with some of that and
Yes, this will be a
interaction.
good time. And the
Yeah.
warblers are coming through. Like someone
Right.
just saw a palm warbler last week. So they're coming, and we do have a lot of birds that come through.
Cool.
So I'll be
And I know
out.
you're a megafauna person, but I mean, hey, you might find the joy that is birds too.
No, I used to do a lot of birds here, like
Okay.
especially 2020, 2020, 2021, 2022. If
Right.
you
When you
like
couldn't
I
go anywhere.
you
Yeah.
go way back. I still went to the Tetons all those times,
Mm.
um but I have to. I have to
Yeah.
know birds. I have to know birds here, or else I would shoot nothing,
Nothing.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have to know birds, but I think I'm in love with moose and
Yeah.
elk and bears.
Hey, that's perfectly cool, right? I mean,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
at least you're continuing to practice. You see a lot of people that go to Africa,
and that's it.
and they they pick up their camera when they go to Africa. They shoot like crazy for a week, 2 weeks. They go home, and then they don't touch that thing until they go back to Africa. So
Yeah, yeah. I
where's
don't
your
want to
muscle
become
memory?
that. Yeah,
Where's your skill building, right? It's
yeah,
you're just going to continue to make snapshots the entire
yeah.
time. So,
I'm thankful
uh,
that I do portrait as well because that keeps me
yeah,
still
yeah,
thinking about all those things, light and my camera and muscle memory and yeah, and just getting out, keeping yourself fresh is so important.
yeah,
Is so important.
that's right.
But
Because you can burn out. That's the other thing about spending so much time out there is the
I
burnout.
know it is. That is a real thing. I think that's kind of where I am is like going through my rounds through the forest and then coming out with nothing. Or coming out with a squirrel again.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
love squirrels. I do love squirrels. But after a while you're like, I just wish maybe something, a white-tailed deer,
sure,
something. So I don't know. It,
yeah,
it'll come. It'll come.
yeah.
I think
It'll
that's part
come.
of your process too, is like when you're in these valleys, what is that telling you? You know,
Well,
and
yeah, and
where do
it's
you
okay to take breaks, right? I
yeah,
mean,
it's okay
if
to
you're
take
not feeling it
breaks.
for a while, walk away,
Yeah,
and then
rest is good.
you will come back happier and wanting to
Yeah.
shoot some stupid little bird that you don't really care about,
I know.
right?
I mean, I think that is true. Like sometimes you just need to take a break and then reassess the challenge and the risk and what you want to, how you want to push yourself again.
That's right.
Um, so that's just, I've been encouraged in that way by people, and that helps me. Like I've reached out to someone and said, like, I don't know if I ever want to do this again. I think I'm
Hmm.
just going to sell everything.
I think
And they're
everybody's
like,
been
I
there.
think this is part of your process. You do this about this time every year. So
Hmm.
just ride it
Yep.
through. I'm
You
like,
ride
oh
it through.
yeah, yeah, it is part of the creative process. I'm so used to as a writer, like writer's block and funk and all that, but it's
Oh,
the same
LSAT.
with photography.
Yeah.
It's the same creative process, the same. You gotta take, you gotta rest, but you also have to keep putting in the practice and the steps, because
Yeah.
sometimes things aren't going to happen, but then all of a sudden they do and you're ready. So it's work. It's not just like, oh, magic's going to happen just because I walk out there with my camera.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many snowy owl images I've taken over my life, but I still every November would get excited that it was going to happen again, right? And it's the same with any other owls that I shoot,
Yeah.
right? It's just I know that certain parts of the year are going to be bad, and
True.
I'm
That's
not going to
true.
like this, so I forget about it and do something else or stop, and
Yeah.
then know that I'm going to be fresh for a certain period of time.
Yeah. Well, you said in your Substack, great storytelling grows from immersion. I think that's true.
Yeah,
Not just
yeah.
being there, but belonging there, learning the rhythms, the silences, and the subtle cues that tell you when something's about to shift. Time in nature is a gift, but without reflection, it's just motion. I thought that was really good.
Boy, that's clever. Did I write
Yeah,
that?
who was that that wrote
Oh,
that?
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with myself. That's silly, but um, yeah, it's therapeutic for one that you're out there doing something in the fresh air and moving about and seeing all these things and listening, being in the moment to listen and see and smell and whatever's happening, be part of it as opposed to just sitting in an office or sitting at home in front of the TV.
Yeah,
You're actually engaged in life and
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
that those senses being finely tuned and tweaked and if you're shooting with people that are like-minded and as keen or even more, usually if you're lucky to have young people that can actually see and hear things, that's even better around. But then you are bettering your skills, right? You may just think I'm out walking in a field, but you're actually at the time bettering your skills because you're tuning into those
right.
sounds and the visions and the what, oh, I see, it rained last night and it was really dark, so the barn owls might be flying really early this morning because it's now dry and not windy and yeah, there's a bit of sun, but it's not too bad, so they
Yeah,
might be out this morning. So you
right.
start to put together these situational occurrences that you've recorded in your head subconsciously of what's working, and it
Absolutely.
builds that repertoire up so that you know how to put it into play when you actually see it, right?
So
The
true.
technical skills you can do. Anybody can learn it. It is not that hard. Um, it's the rest of it. It's the eye. It's building your eye. Hopefully you've got, I mean, some people have a natural eye and some people do not. Um, but building those skill sets around um, how you just embrace the space you're in at the time is key to building that great image.
It
I,
really
I don't
is.
think you can get away from it.
Yeah. And I think I'm always glad I did it once I go out, even if I don't. I'm frustrated. There's a part of me that's frustrated, but I'm glad I was out. I'm
Yeah,
glad I
yeah,
was
yeah.
out, glad I had the fresh air, glad I could think, and just walk.
Find the value in
I,
the moment. I mean,
yeah,
you may get there's so many times I will go out and not even turn my camera on just because there's nothing worth me making imminent image of.
yeah,
But the time I've spent out there has value. And I go about it in a way that, okay, didn't work today, try again the next day, right?
yeah,
Maybe it'll be different tomorrow, but I know what I'm looking for.
yeah,
So, it's just all that.
it
Like you
is.
said, it's just being in the moment and
Yeah.
being there.
How do you know when, um, I think when I was younger photographer. The first 4 or 5 years, it was really hard for me to let go of any kind of image. It was really hard for me to
Oh yeah.
walk away from
Oh,
a
that's not a
moose that was
problem.
an image, or, and want to fix every image just because I took it, So how do you know when it's time to abandon an image?
Oh. So I speed cull through things. I
Yeah,
don't play about. If it's not optically what I'm looking for and story wise, it goes in the bin because
yeah,
I'm not going to fake it to make it, right? It's just something I will, because I'm likely in a spot that I can repeat it. I will go and do it again,
yeah,
right? The conditions hopefully will be that way again someday,
yeah,
and I will be able to go out and do it again. Now, there's times, obviously, there's going to be things that happen that will never ever happen again that you will see, and hopefully you've at the time been able to build the skills up to actually take advantage of that. But if you don't, again, keep those images as a record and say, wow, this really happened,
yeah,
but you're not going to do anything with them, right?
yeah.
That's the way I feel about it. But if it takes me more than a couple of minutes to make the image look better than what I did in camera, I usually just scrap it. I
Oh
don't.
yeah, I saw you say that 2-minute edit.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't see the value of putting that time into it. If I
Yeah,
didn't do my job, I don't deserve the image. So that's
interesting.
kind of how I feel.
Well, I think that's something like that's another thing with the practice and taking and being out and just going through the motions, is that you start realizing that's what the moose did yesterday. It's still not a great gesture. They're going to lay down. I can abandon the scene and go find other things, but also it's not a photo anymore.
Yeah,
Not a
yeah,
photo. And it
yeah,
just takes time to build that because you're so excited. Like you're
yeah.
just
Oh,
excited to
definitely.
see things. It just takes time to be like, I don't think this is a photo. I can spend my time somewhere else. And when you're culling, like, yeah, that wasn't a photo. I'm done.
Yeah,
The head was down the whole time, or,
yeah.
whatever. It's time to, even though
Like
it's so
it
exciting.
happened a while ago. Somebody asked me, well, "You didn't even lift your camera." I'm like, "Well, I didn't see a shot. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
background is not good. The light is really bad.
Right.
The animal is asleep. I mean, what do you want me to do with this?"
I
Right?
know. Yeah.
It's lovely to see, but it's not what I want in an image. So I'm not going to make it because I
Right.
can't fake it enough to make it into something I want. So
Yeah.
why bother?
Even with manipulation afterwards.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, my skills are not there. So I mean, I
I
don't
don't
put
know how to
much
use
time into it.
Photoshop. So
No, I mean I can, but I mean it's pretty rudimentary compared
yeah.
to some of the
Yeah. My kids will be like that
7,000
now.
layers.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. My kids are
No.
like, I can't believe we just like drove right by that moose or that bear. And I'm like, yeah,
Mm,
it's that's okay. It's not a
it's
shot
not your
right
first
now. Good to
rodeo,
see it.
right?
Good to see it. Hi.
If it's the first time you're somewhere, you see it in Africa, all that every
Yes, I
zebra,
was gonna
every
say.
topi, every poo that whatever something's made, somebody's looking at it, trying to figure out what it is. And they're taking tons and tons of images, and that's great because if it's the only time they're ever going to be there, fill the bucket, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this you're making a chronological um diary of what you've done on this trip.
yeah,
However, if you do see something special, hopefully you'll put the effort into making that image.
yeah.
So it's knowing when the thing is special to do, make that image.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that just takes time. It just takes
Yeah.
practice, like you said, building your eye. And it doesn't, some people, like you said, have a great eye, but it takes time to know all those elements that have to come together. And you're watching for that and building it. And yeah, it's just so fun.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? That's the whole point, is go out and enjoy it because it's
Yeah.
it's there for us to enjoy.
Yeah. It's so, so
I,
fun.
I don't ever try to, I get, I guess, a bit self-demonized, but I don't really care because I'm aiming at one specific group of people. I'm never speaking to amateurs because they are just trying to learn and have a good time and see things and enjoy their life and out in nature. And
Yeah.
I'm all for that. It's when you say, I'm now a pro,
I'm an
right? Is it
expert.
this,
Yeah.
I picked up a camera in 2025 and now I'm doing workshops person,
Yeah.
right? Pretty sure they're not truly ready for it. Whoever said they were is
Yeah.
not being truthful, unless they're incredibly talented, and I could be completely wrong. However, I know the person you meant, she's not.
Right.
And um, sorry. I mean, I don't see the talent. You're going to get to a point where your BS doesn't compensate for your actual skills, you're going to get put in a position where somebody's going to consider you an expert. You don't have the ability to teach them. And then what? Then you look
Yeah.
stupid, right? And
Give
okay,
yourself time to respect the field and respect yourself and learn. Like that is
yeah,
just shocking to me a little bit. And that's kind of what we started with. Like I feel like social media has started that. It's like this push to have to be someone, make money, get branding and all of that when you need to learn first.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's my thoughts. I mean, I know I am 52 years old, so who cares what I think, but I don't personally want to be put in a position of being asked to teach something that I'm not ready to teach. You know,
Yeah,
I have a master's degree in teaching. I know I've been put in those
exactly.
situations before where I wasn't ready to teach the thing and someone pushed me to go do it, and it's not a good experience. It's not, and I still can remember like being put in those positions. I want to be ready, and I want to respect the person that asked me to be able to answer, you know, and be able to genuinely know and help them grow.
But
So
imagine if that was your entire gig,
I
right? If
know.
that's all you had
Yeah.
was this, somebody has thought that I'm ready for this, so I'm going to go up there and say whatever. And I truly know that I don't know, but I'm
Right.
going to
Oh,
tell you, it's like, okay, there's the Canadian guy. I always go back to this because he drives me insane. That if I can go and Google it and get the exact same information that you're telling me, there is no
oh.
value to you, right?
Mm-mm.
And you know, he posts the same 10 images all the time, and it's the same crap. But somebody has told him he's really good at, and he's good at telling people basic stuff. So I'll give him all the credit in the world for that because I don't want to do it. But if I can Google it, I don't need you. So why am I paying you all this money?
It's like what you
Right?
said. It comes back to knowing the place, knowing your skill, being there, being in it. Yeah, it makes sense. We've talked before about what it takes to, because you know, an imposter syndrome, and we've
Mm.
talked about this. And when you know you're supposed to guide and teach, and it's I encourage people to go read those because especially the imposter syndrome one, that was really helpful to me. We talked
Oh,
about it, and then there
good.
was a blog post.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
People just give me
Vince,
one-liners sometimes, and I'll just go crack a post off because it just triggers something, right? So
but it does show you like it's a little indicator of maybe where you should look and grow instead of just giving up. You sort of lean into it. What do you say? You lean into it, not
yeah,
give into it. Yeah.
that's right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, just I always am more impressed with people at work when they come back and say, they don't just say I know it and lie. They say I don't know it. I'm going to go find out and I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I absolutely respect that. But when somebody just tells me this line of crap because they're trying to be the expert in the room, right? And I know it's wrong, they know it's wrong. So you're at this really divisive point where your imposter syndrome is showing, right? You don't want to be in that place, right? You don't want to be caught in it. You're
Yeah.
better off to just say, I don't know. Let's work it out. Let's
Yeah.
figure it out together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Let
That
grow and learn more. Yeah.
that's value, right? And a lot of people don't do that. They just, get either completely mentally constipated and stop doing anything, or they just, the other version of constipation, everywhere of the lack of knowledge that they have.
Everyone's eating their lunch now, enjoying
Yeah,
this.
yeah, oh yeah, it is lunchtime for you. Sorry. Talk about enemas. Yeah.
Well, I feel
Perfect.
like you know, I'm almost like too hard on myself where I have to like for people who are like me, like
Well,
you can do this. Like have
factually, clinically, scientifically, women are definitely more apt to act on their imposter syndrome
yeah.
and just shut down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is not a surprise to me at all. Men, Dunning-Kruger takes over and they just go all out.
Of course
And
I
I
can do
see that a lot.
everything. Yes, because
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
told that your whole life. Like we aren't told that
yes,
our whole lives. Right.
that's
Right.
right.
But like you
Exactly.
said, it's diagnostic feedback. And then you
Exactly.
can see like why am I feeling this way? How can I improve it?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just have to I was taught like to be so humble that you basically hate yourself.
Yeah.
like the humility that's so far down that sometimes
Yeah.
I have to be like, wait, that's not really healthy. You know?
I don't know anybody else like that.
No, I wonder.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Um,
people have to do is listen to your other episode. We talked about that a little
yeah.
bit with
Yeah. I
me.
mean, it's just very challenging for people, right? Because they want to be really good and they want to impart the knowledge they have, and there is a market for that, right? Just try to stay in the lane you're in with that clientele until you're ready to move forward, right? And if you work with the right clients and mentors, you will get there. If you want to get there, you will get there, right?
Yeah,
It's as simple as that. So
yeah, it's
yeah,
so true.
don't quit. Just lean into it, know your limitations, and
Yeah.
work past.
Yeah. For me, I know there's always something to learn in this field. I'm
Absolutely.
never going to stop learning. And all my goal is like, can I look back over the year and I improved? Did I
Yeah.
improve in some way? You know, how did I improve? And there's many areas you can improve in. So where did
Hmm.
I improve? Do my images look different than several years ago? Um, and try not to compare myself to other people, which is hard too with social media. But it's like, did I improve?
Yeah.
Does my knowledge improve? Did my images improve? Um, and hopefully the answer is yes, maybe
Well,
not.
and just be aware too that don't be disgruntled when you hit the plateau, which
Right.
does happen. You'll have a level of success. You'll try to figure a way to do it again or surpass it. It won't come immediately, and then you feel
Yeah.
like a failure. You're not. You're just
Yeah.
it. You just managed to do something really good, and let the world be what it is, and then just go ahead and try to find that next moment. That's all you can
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. And I think that's where challenge and risk come in.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Absolutely. You have to take risk and be
Yeah.
uncomfortable a little bit to move yourself off that plateau. Um,
Like when people tell me, oh, I went out with this setting, right? And I stayed there all day for some reason in this setting, right? Y- you know, you didn't see an opportunity to shoot slow or fast or high
right,
key, low
right.
key. What were
Yeah.
you doing? You've got this expensive point and shoot, right? That you're
I have
not
that on my list to talk
utilizing.
about.
Oh, okay, all right. But if you're not trying things, you're not learning either, right? So
Yeah. Because I love to shoot at 2.8. And that's
yeah,
what you say, expensive point. I
yeah,
love
I don't
2.8.
get it, but yeah,
I
sure.
know. I love how everything falls off. I love it. I love that bokeh and blur. And I'm getting better. I'm not on 2.8 all the time, of course. I'm not.
Hmm.
But I do love it. I
Well,
think,
if you do a little experiment of, okay, I've shot this at 2.8, and
yeah.
then at a distance,
Yeah.
try to stop down and see how much it changes. You'll be surprised that, I mean, I can shoot at f8 on really good glass, and it's going to look like I shot at much more shallower depth of field
Yeah.
anyhow.
Yeah.
So why flatten that image where I've got this very thin expanse of sharpness when I can have a much larger stream of sharpness
Yeah.
and and I spot it all the time. I spot very
Oh, I'm
shallow
sure you,
depth of
I'm
field. It's
sure you
like,
spot it
okay,
in
well,
mine. Yeah. But see, that's a
like,
thing where I think photography changes. I feel like that is a evolution of photography. People are shooting less sharp of a whole frame. They don't want everything sharp in the whole frame.
yeah.
So um
Or they,
probably
or
how I
you,
learned. That's just
yeah. I
kind
mean,
of
you
when
get a
I
lot of
came in.
close-ups. There's
Yeah.
one, there's one image that comes to mind of this snake that I've seen that just the nose is tack sharp and the rest of it's blown out, and it makes me dizzy just to look at it because it's so wrong. And this person, I mean, Canon keeps publishing it like it's the greatest thing ever, and I'm like, do you guys look at images anymore, or are you just grabbing ass out there? Because this
It's
is
their
just
art. It's
nothing
their
I would.
art. They can do
Yeah,
whatever they
well,
want.
okay, well, you could do it right too, but I want to see a very thin bit of sharpness and then blown out. Oh, it's just
But I
stupid.
do know that it's so important whenever you are in a portrait or close up, like you should be at f8 or more because
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
got to get that all in sharp. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
People, oh, just as long as the eyes are sharp. Oh, okay. But what about the rest of it? Okay. I don't get it.
I mean,
No,
I do understand it. I do understand just having the eye sharp and letting everything fall away. I understand it, but I think it's where the year I entered into photography. Like that was the trend. That was the thing. And
yeah,
are we
yeah.
shooting? Well, are we? I like it, but I probably was shooting for the trend as well. You know? Yeah.
If that's all you're looking at, that's
Right.
all
Right.
you're gonna really know, right? So that's the
Right.
thing. You got to branch. You got to look for people that are really really good, and study what they do,
Yeah.
and then try to figure out how they do it. And a lot of times, if you ask them, it may take a while for them to respond, but the chances are somebody's going to respond. Even Art Wolf, if you ping him, and you ask a good question, he'll respond, or his partner will, right? So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you can ask most photographers, and they're happy to tell you their process because they
Yeah.
want you to
That's
be
fun.
engaged, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
feel blessed to be taught by someone that was really good, but I think he also shoots kind of like that, like more ethereal. So that's
mm,
part of it too,
yeah,
just being taught by someone like that. Um, it is a matter of taste. I do understand, like when I'm shooting bears, I need to be at f8.
or
And
maybe it
to
doesn't.
get
I
the
mean,
fur,
honestly,
I'm pushing
maybe you need
myself.
to be at maybe you need to be at f8 or f12, but at
F12, yeah.
1/10 of a second to
Yeah,
try that, right? I mean,
yeah. It's
it doesn't
fun.
have to be tack sharp.
And
It-
that's what people too can know. It's like you can shoot that frame and all those different things and see what you like when you come home.
yeah,
Try
yeah,
it, play with it because we aren't
yeah,
on film anymore. We can delete things.
exactly. Doesn't cost you any money to
No.
experiment anymore.
So play, and like it doesn't matter to me how many shots I take. If I'm playing and sketching that scene, then that's what I'm doing.
Yep,
Like for art, I want to sketch it till I see what I like and then throw things out. But
that's right.
if you have questions for Vince, you can put them in the Q&A box. And I think Lydia has something. Lydia's here. Hi,
Oh,
Lydia.
crimey.
She said, if it's not too much off topic, I'd love to hear what Vince thinks about staying motivated to take photos with AI to contend with. So we talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Um, it truly motivates me because I see so much bad photography to not make that. It's that simple. It annoys me so much that I want to prove it to be false and worthless,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I'm not going to be able to do that every time because there is some really, really well done AI that looks real. However, like I said before, I think there's going to always be a market for people that want real.
Yeah.
Um, AI can do great things for us in clinical aspects and
Yeah.
surgical aspects and all these types of real world things. Artistically, there's no value to it. And I think
Yeah.
eventually it's going to drop off as
I hope
something
so.
that's
We
that
need
in
humans doing
vogue.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We need human
And
spirit.
AI is going to take over everything we do, right? It's going to make most of our jobs redundant at some point. It's slowly, well, not actually not, it's exponentially doing that now. So those soft sciences and the artistic spaces are going to be more, it's busy now with people picking up cameras and being photographers. It's probably going to get even more so because they're going to have freer time because the AI
Oh,
is
interesting.
giving them
Yeah.
more, so hopefully that the value comes in that creative process as opposed to just
Right.
I've made a prompt and I'm generating X image, right?
Right.
Um, yeah.
I think
So
the
that's
Artemis,
how I think
yeah, I think the
motivation
Artemis,
is just going to be that.
I hope
Sorry.
so. I think the Artemis mission this last week just showed us that how important that human spirit is, the joy that they shared, the words that they shared, the heart and soul of that mission and the human connection they shared. Like that would not have happened with robots. Like
No,
it just
no.
was so touching. I think it just brought so much hope to people to listen to that. And the photos they were taking, like through their own eye, and like the awe
Oh
and
yeah.
wonder that they shared was so inspiring,
Incredible images.
incredible. And
Yeah.
just like the words to go with it. And continuing to say that when they get back, like how important they were to each other. And I don't know, we need more of that. That's what makes me think like AI can't do that. They
No,
can't take our spirit,
no.
and replicate that, can they? Please no.
No,
Please
no,
no.
it can't, right? And that's the thing is, no matter how well you craft that prompt, it's never going to be real. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
simple.
So interesting. Well, I hope even even just the AI elements of Lightroom and Photoshop, that is changing things. Like I'm
Yeah,
sure Lydia knows, speaking of that too, not just generated images totally, but like you said, replacing the sky, replacing
yeah,
whole scenes
yeah.
that weren't real. It is interesting to see things. I'm like, that is not. I've never seen the Tetons look like that in my life. So where's that? And then it has a million likes.
Yeah,
It's just a push. It's just a
because the
push.
people that are liking it haven't been there. The people that
Right.
have been there
They don't
know
know.
that it's not real, right?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, it's getting people to stop just mindlessly liking crap and putting some thought into how that was produced.
Which is understanding composition and light and gesture and
Hmm.
all those things.
That's a lot. I mean, you look at Instagram, it's got I don't know how many billion people are on the platform, and the majority or the majority of people are not photographers. I mean,
Right.
photographers are a very, very small
Right.
segment of that demographic. And,
Right.
so we appeal to each other as photographers.
Right. Right.
And the people that get the most likes are appealing to the masses, right? And
Yeah.
it just, I mean, it makes sense to me. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it.
Yeah.
And they just they get paid with likes, and they feel good about their work when they get those likes, and at the end of the day, they have likes.
Yeah.
They don't have an image that they've actually made themselves.
True.
It's fabricated. So, I
Yeah.
mean, whatever that's worth to somebody, I don't know. So,
Who knows? They're getting paid by Facebook and Instagram. They probably don't care.
in the States, yeah, I think
Yeah, in
I
the
think
States,
the US is the only
getting
place
paid.
that you get paid. Yeah,
People are getting
yeah.
paid a lot with Facebook, I think. And yeah, you see their work sort of change because you realize, oh, I bet they're getting paid now. Yeah. So let's end on something good.
Okay,
What can
let's
we end
try
on
that
good?
for a change.
Like, what's your
Yeah.
what's your advice for amateurs starting out to avoid some of this? And like, how can we give hope to photographers and something good?
The best advice I can give anybody starting out is to, it sounds boring, but try to appreciate how the image gets from your eye onto the screen. Because if you can figure that out, you'll learn the skills that you need to consistently make that, you
Yeah.
know, and it's really not very hard. I mean, it's a little bit of math and a little bit of physics. And um, when you see how amazing the image looks when you get it right, and you know that, like, wow, I saw this, I committed it to the image now, and this is exactly the way I remember it,
Yeah.
right? Not that, oh, I it's really dark because I screwed up the exposure, but I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna crank it all up, right? And I'm gonna add some more color to it that I didn't see when I was there. So trying to get those basic skills under your belt is really important, I think.
Yeah.
And look at art. Um, Not Art Wolf, but I mean, if you want, look at he's fantastic. But look at art
Actual art. Yeah.
and look at how things are composed, and look at how leading lines are used, and color space, and all those things that are in appreciable art. That whatever you feel is art, but look at it and try to understand it, and see how it's laid out, so that when you go to tell your story, you are making art in a way that is pleasing and fulfilling to you. And then that will come out to the viewer, and then that will come out in your success.
Yeah. That's true. And I feel like what you feel and what your joy that you feel and what you're putting into it, it does come out in your images. People can feel that.
Yeah. And you can't rush it. I mean, people think that, pick up the camera and start banging off images. I
Yeah.
shot at 1/4000th of a second, so I caught a sharp bird. Yes, you did. The camera did it, but you aimed it. That's lovely. But does it say anything? Is it
Right.
just bird on stick or bird in flight?
Right.
Um, if it doesn't say anything, or there's no story to it, it's not. It's just an image, right?
I
It's
always
just a
think about it
cheetah
like,
sitting on a rock.
right. I always think about like, what was the magic of it? Is it just a
Yeah,
bird, sitting on a rock, or was there some magic? Like, how can I capture the magic of that moment instead of just a moose standing there?
Yeah.
You know?
Like if you just see a moose standing there or a bird on a stick and that's what comes into your head, you as the photographer, you didn't really make anything of value, you just made an image. It's a
Yeah.
snapshot.
Yeah.
People are going to move it along. Yes, it might be in focus, might be sharp, it
Yeah.
might have good color at this point, but I mean it just you just made an image.
Yeah. Marcus is sharing, like, sometimes you have to step back and go look at art, and like that can refuel. Basically, that's what he's saying. In general, he says, step away, look inside from the outside. So looking at art in general can be a great inroad to getting back into things you've lost when you've lost
Oh,
inspiration. That's so true.
very true.
Yeah.
Excellent comment. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I totally
And
agree.
Julia Cameron talks about this, like taking artist dates so that you can inspire yourself, like give yourself an hour and go do something that's creative, fun, like you're feeding that inner child, that inner
Yeah.
artist, and you're learning. And so that fills you creatively to move forward in your own work,
Yeah,
whatever
that's a
work
cool
that
idea.
is. Yeah.
That's a really
And
good idea.
I need to do that. I used to do that much, much more like intentionally, but life happens and you get rid of some of those practices. But it is good to have, like, she also talks about morning pages. I don't know if you've heard of those, where
Mm,
you write for 3 minutes straight and
mm,
like everything comes out. And I did that. I've done that, and it's amazing what comes out. Like,
mm,
you're like just spilling straight for 3 minutes on the page, free,
mm.
like with not typing, freehand.
Oh, well, there's no
And
value in that for me then.
well, it is
Doctor.
interesting to see, like, what creative, like what comes out of like the junk that's blocking you,
Oh,
and
I can imagine so, yeah.
things that are coming up over and over the weeks. So that's really interesting. And then she adds those artist dates for the inspiration part, and
Yeah, that's cool.
that's so cool.
I have to
Yeah.
look that up because that's a really interesting concept.
Yeah, it's called The Artist's Way by Julia
Hmm,
Cameron. It's really good.
cool.
Yeah, it's really.
Another thing I think even bigger than the skills is don't be afraid to fail, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
again, it doesn't cost you anything at this point to shoot. Once you get when the initial investment, yes, okay. But once you do, you can write over that card as much as you want. But
Right.
if don't be afraid to try things. Yes, if it's something you're never going to see again, really try your damnedest to get it right. However, if it's something you see all the time, experiment,
That's
right?
right.
If it's in your face all the time, you have no reason not to try different things.
Yeah. If you're not failing, you don't know how you're going to improve it. Like, it has, you have to fail because
Yeah.
it's not going to be perfect the first time. Like, you have to look at it and go, I got to get this right. I got to do this.
And luckily, with camera settings now, all that metadata and EXIF information, it's all there. So if you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know what you did at the time, you can look at it and say,
Right.
oh, yeah, this is what I did because I remember.
Right.
Don't ask somebody what their settings were because there's no value. But if you
That's
actually
true.
look at what your settings were at the time and you found some quality in that image you liked, but you failed at something else, and you just think, oh, okay, maybe I'll try this next time along with this and see what comes out
Yeah.
because
It's
you can,
fun.
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
then when you
so-
make an image you find lovely, then you've really learned.
yeah. And it's subjective.
Totally subjective. Yeah. Yeah. I make a lot of crap. Nobody is ever going to
I
say
do
this is
too.
great, but I like it. So,
Yeah. No, I'm thankful for the crap that I can delete.
yeah. Okay.
Delete,
Yeah.
delete, delete.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Well, what's up with you? What are you doing this year? What's coming up in 2026 and 2027?
The Global Bird Fair, I'm going to be speaking at that at some point
Well,
this
that's
year. I
fun. Is
picked
that
the
July?
Friday. Yeah, July. Don't ask me the date. It's the Bird Fair uh, on the Friday.
And where is that? Where will that be?
Uh, you're asking me questions.
I know, but you're in
Uh,
England right now, so
yeah,
not in the States, probably.
it's no, it's in England. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fun.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like right now, Northern Europe is very light early and dark late.
Hmm.
So everything is bouncing around now, animal wise. So it's
Oh,
like,
fun.
what's going to be on that weekend that you're going to miss that? Oh, because
Oh,
it's babies, prime owl season for babies, and they're going to
oh,
be flying.
fun.
So missing that. So
That's
there's
fun.
it's the good and the bad part of it.
Yeah. My
But
friend Michelle just got 3 little great horned owl babies,
oh, lovely.
perfectly in like a curved down tree
Uh,
in the cavity, 3
awesome.
little peas in a pot. Just darling. I know. That's in Minnesota, which she has so
Yeah.
many more
Yeah.
owls than me. But anyway,
They
so
have a lot.
yeah, what else are you doing in
That's it.
2026, 27? That's
I don't
it.
know.
Nothing
Something
else.
else. Something else. I don't know.
Are you going back to Africa anytime?
Nothing planned at the moment, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that always changes, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's
Um, what else are we doing? I don't know. When I figure it out, I'll say something.
yeah, you can tell me. You can tell
Yeah.
me later. Well, where can people find you if they want to look online or social media? Where can not
Yeah. I don't want people to find me.
where are you hiding out?
I guess Instagram will work in the
Yeah, you
Substack.
barely post. You
Oh,
barely
I know.
stories. You
I
put
know.
things in your stories every day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's no effort to do that. Posts feel like it's the whole risk and reward thing, right? There's no risk because nobody's going to see it, and there's no reward,
True.
so you get no reward out of it. So why bother?
I know. It's changed again in the last few weeks where it's just
Oh, has it?
nothing. It's
Yeah,
nothing. It's just so
even
weird.
worse.
I keep posting, but it's like, yeah, I don't because I don't know where else to go, but
There is nowhere else to
there
go.
is
That's
nowhere
the
else to
problem.
go. And
They've
it's fun. I still
monopolized
have
it.
all my friends on there that I really like. I really do love seeing people's work. So
Yeah, just hopefully it's good. I have a
it
lot of
is. They're
friends
my
that,
friends. Of course it's
yeah,
good.
well, I have a lot of friends that I say things to on occasion that aren't my friends anymore, but
You
hey.
haven't said anything mean to me yet. I'm waiting because I
Oh,
know. I know
shall
that
I
two
go
eight.
forensic looking? Okay.
I know that 2-8 is right there.
Oh,
But they can
yeah.
find you at Vince Maidens on social media, on Instagram. And if they message you for a print or for
Yeah.
mentoring or anything, you'll answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a
Mm-hmm.
website
I do.
and you have your Substack, The Authentic
Yep.
Voice, and your
Yeah.
podcast.
On occasion, yeah. Yeah.
On occasion, a podcast.
Yeah. That should pick up too, hopefully.
2 episodes.
Yeah, well, no
They're
rush.
good. They're good. I told you one of them I was stomping around in my laundry room because you're
Yeah,
making me
cool.
think and get spicy
That's
because
all
it was
right.
the 2-8. My
Uh-huh.
my point and shoot. Which is
Oh.
always fun. It's always fun to spar with you. So,
Uh-huh.
well, I want to
Well,
thank you for
good.
being here. I want to thank Robert's Camera for helping out with the podcast and always being there for me. And you can find information about them in the description. We have a new coupon code because scammers took our coupon code and put it everywhere. So, yes, if you'd like the new coupon code, it's in the description. Thank you to GURA Gear. You can find information about them in the description as well. I have Brian Hill coming up next week, April 21st. He's a really nice guy based in Kansas, shoots in Colorado, Yellowstone, Tetons, Alaska, really nice guy. So he's going to be on the 21st. Hopefully everybody will register for that and join us. But Vince, thanks so much. It's like we get to
Quite welcome.
bar in person. It's
There you
fun.
go. Excellent.
And
It was
hope
nice
you'll
and
be back.
relaxing, right?
Yeah, nice and relaxing,
Yeah,
no
good.
pressure. It was good to have you. And thanks everybody for joining us. It was great to have everybody again. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much, Vince. We'll talk again.
Anytime.
Okay.
See you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.